So an $8 million hemp brand came to me when they were only sending 10 emails a month. And within the first 3 months, we tripled their cadence to about 36 emails a month, depending on the season. We generated $3.55 million from email with a blended open rate of 50.5%. And most importantly, we proved the 4 myths that every single DTC operator that I meet believes about list fatigue. We proved it completely wrong. Here's exactly what we did. Now, if you're under 20% of revenue from email, you don't actually have a fatigue problem, you have a frequency problem. And the math behind fixing all that is actually bigger than most operators realize. Now, if you're new here, my name is Min. I've helped DTC brands generate over $10 million in email. My clients average 42% of their revenue from email and SMS alone. Now, let me show you exactly what happened with this brand, and then I'll walk you through the 4 myths and the one mechanic that actually makes daily sending work. So the 427 campaign experiment. It was one brand, an $8 million hemp brand with one very big list. So we sent out 427 campaigns within 12 months. So that's roughly about 36 emails a month. And for this one brand in 2025, we sent close to 30 million emails. And we were able to maintain a 50.5% blended open rate throughout the entire year. We generated just over 3.5 million from email alone with a 45.9% average email attribution. Now, every Klaviyo email guru would tell you that this should have killed their list, but actually the opposite happened. Before I explain how, let me bust the 4 myths that keep DTC brands from sending way less emails than they should, because once you stop believing them, the math completely changes. So myth number 1, more emails equals more unsubscribes. This is the most repeated lie in DTC email. So for this hemp brand, we sent close to 30 million emails and the unsubscribe rate was below a 0.4%. And here's 2 reasons that it stayed that low. Reason number 1, we didn't send the same 36 emails to every single subscriber. So the daily sends went to highly engaged segments while the less engaged segments got emails tailored to them. So they actually felt the email was made for them and not just blasted out randomly. I'll talk more on the segmentation mechanics in just a few minutes. So reason number 2, promo sends actually drive 80% of your unsubscribes, not volume. So most brands I've audited send about 6 to 8 emails a month. All of them are 100% promotional based emails. That's what actually burns subscribers, not the actual count. So volume isn't the variable when the targeting and the content you send your subscribers are actually right. And once you accept that volume isn't the killer, the next myth just completely crumbles. So myth number 2, open rates drop with cadence. So this hemp brand on average sent 36 emails a month with a blended open rate of 50.5%. While most DTC brands out there are sending 4 to 8 emails a month with a 30 to 40% open rate, if even. Cadence isn't what kills your open rates. This is the opposite of what most email marketers will tell you. Here's the 2 reasons we actually were able to keep open rates that high with that daily cadence. Reason number 1, open rate is a function of subject line and content quality, not cadence. So reason number 2 is the same segmentation mechanic from the last point. We focused our high cadence on our most engaged segments. Most DTC brands just send out and blast out to their entire list, or they just don't know how to segment well enough to actually protect their deliverability metrics. So if your open rate is dropping, your subject lines are stale, or your list strategy is broken. Probably both, which sets up myth number 3. This is the one that most agencies actually hide behind to justify their lazy 8 email sends a month. So myth number 3, send less, make more. So here's a caveat first. This really does depend on the nature of the brand. So this hemp brand was a consumables brand and their customers replenish on a regular cycle. So their customers actually want to hear from them more often. For a consumables brand, daily sends often makes more sense, but for a slow cycle brand like jewelry or furniture, it probably doesn't. So the lesson isn't to send daily emails. The lesson is to send at the cadence that your email list actually rewards. Pay attention to your audience. Let the data tell you and review the facts. So for this brand specifically, the data was clear as day. When we tripled the cadence from about 10 emails a month to 1 email a day, the revenue just kept trending upward, just kept climbing. It absolutely skyrocketed by the first year. So when we started working with this brand, email attribution was at 37% and it peaked all the way up to 51% of email attribution. Just over 3.5 million in year 1 and 46% in blended attribution. And here's how we know this wasn't just a fluke or correlation. After a year of daily email sends, we wanted to test to prove the cadence. So 1 month, we cut the email sends by half and the revenue dropped by over more than half. And that's all the proof you need. The daily sends wasn't just like along for the ride. It was the actual engine behind the revenue machine that is email. Look, send less, make more sounds wise, but for the right brand, the data says the opposite. And that sets up the biggest myth, the one I get the most pushback on from clients when I tell them to double up their cadence. Myth number 4, you'll fatigue your buyers. All right, first let's get honest about the unsubs. Unsubscribes are natural. They're part of the game. You're gonna lose subscribers no matter what, I guarantee you. The goal isn't 0 unsubscribers. The goal is to keep the right subscribers so that your list remains engaged enough to buy from you and to keep your sender reputation up with all these ESPs. Look, if you're optimizing for unsubscribes, you're optimizing for the wrong number. Now, with that said, your buyers don't unsubscribe because you talk too much. They unsubscribe because you talk about the same thing over and over again. Think about a marriage or a relationship. People don't leave because their partner talks too much. They leave because the conversation gets stale, it becomes unexciting, it's gone boring. So remember this formula: high cadence with varied content equals high engagement. Low engagement with promo-only emails equals death. So the brands your customers actually love, they're hearing from them every day. So if all 4 myths are wrong, what's happening at this brand that allows them to send emails every single day to their customers without burning them? It's 3 things. The first one is the engine. So the engine is the 3-bucket content mix. This is the mechanic that makes daily send or high cadence actually work. So we got bucket 1, value content. This is gonna be about 50% of your content. We're talking founder letters, ingredient spotlights, brand POV, education, stories, anything of that nature. Bucket number 2 is hybrid content. This is gonna be about 25% of your content. So hybrid content is an email that leads with value, but then has a CTA at the end or ask for a sale. So for example, a product woven into a story, not like a buy this now urgent play, but more of a here's why this matters and oh, by the way, we sell this. So bucket number 3 is promo content. This is gonna be about the other 25% of your content. This is straight sales, this is straight launches, product drops, things like that. Direct ask, no shame, plug, that is what it is. And at this particular hemp brand, the value content sends hit an average of over 60% in open rates, even more than the promo emails. So that's the math. When the content actually varies, the list never fatigues. But the content mix alone won't save you. It's the structural piece behind it that actually does the warming. You have to have the core flow stack underneath. Daily sends work because your flow stack is actually warming up your audience in the background. So the exact number of flows doesn't actually matter because every brand is different, but what does actually matter is having at least the core flow stack before you scale your cadence. So the 7 core flows every single DTC brand should have is the welcome flow, the abandoned cart flow, the abandoned checkout, the browse abandonment, the post-purchase, which we actually like to call the thank you flow, the customer win-back flow, and the sunset unengaged flow. And quick tip, if you're a consumables brand, add a replenishment flow that's tied to your refill cycle. So these flows actually do the heavy lifting. Every subscriber feels warm and they get pulled back at the right moment. So without these flows running, daily sends might actually burn your list, but with them, daily sends only compounds the effect. Most brands try to scale cadence without the foundation in place. That's why it fails. So content mix plus flow stack. The last piece is how you treat your list. So you want to create segmentation that's actually built around your brand. You don't send the same volume to every subscriber. Segmentation is what allows you to protect your deliverability and let the right people hear from you more often. The exact segments really depend on your brand, but some common cuts we like to use: non-buyers versus buyers, first-time buyers versus repeat purchasers, VIP and loyalty rewards members, subscription members, and highly engaged subscribers. So the specific mix will vary by brand depending on the nature of it, but the one segment that every brand needs to have is their highly engaged segment. The highly engaged segment gets your full cadence. So for this hemp brand, daily cadence happened to mean daily email sends, but for your brand, that might mean 3 a week, 5 a week. Read your data. Don't just copy us because we did it. The rest of your segments get tailored emails based on where they are in your funnel. So remember this, vary your cadence by segment, hit your most engaged the most often, and treat the rest of them with the volume and the content that fits the relationship. Most brands send the same blast to everyone. That's how deliverability dies. So if you pull those 3 pieces together, the revenue math completely changes. So let me break down the revenue math for you and the difference this made. First, let me show you what tripling the cadence did for the brand in dollars. So before working with us, the brand was sending about 10 emails a month, and we tripled the cadence to about 36 emails a month. The result was $3.55 million from email across roughly about 100,000 engaged subscriber lists. Now here's a flip question. What would have happened if they just stayed at 10 emails a month? So if you remember the test I mentioned from earlier, we cut the daily email sends by half. More than half of the email revenue dropped. So if you apply that going from 36 emails to roughly 15, 16 emails in a month, that's roughly about a 60% cut. Revenue would have dropped by 60 to 70%. So conservatively, they would have made only roughly $1 million from email instead of $3.55 million. So the contrast is that's about $2.5 million they would have left on the table if they had not tripled their cadence. So roughly $25 per engaged subscriber per year. Now translate that to your own brand. If you had a 10,000 subscriber engaged segment and you're underdoing cadence, you're leaving about $250,000 a year on the table. The leak isn't your unsubscribe rate, it's your underutilized engaged segment. And here's a part that should make you reconsider your entire email strategy. This hemp brand peaked at 51% of total store revenue from email. Stop and think about that number. 51% means that email did as much as every paid ad, every organic channel, every affiliate, every referral combined. For an over $8 million brand, that's roughly $4 million a year from a channel that most agencies undercharge for. So this is what daily email sends can actually unlock for a brand. It's not 2x the revenue, it's a whole new business. So if you take one thing from this video, it's the next 30 seconds. Your list is not tired, your content is. You wanna send more of the right things, not less of everything. Audit your last 30 email sends, and if more than 30% of those are promo-based, you found your leak. The brands telling you to chill with the emails are the same ones spending 60% of the revenue on meta ads. Stop listening to them. By the way, if you're struggling with any of this and you think you could use some help with emails, I'll leave a link down in the description below in case you're interested. Don't worry, it's nothing super fancy. It's just a little video of me explaining how I help e-com brands. In case you're looking for that kind of thing, feel free to check it out if you're having any issues with customer retention. Or not, I don't really care. So that's all for this one. If you got any value out of this video, slap that like button, drop a comment down below with any requests or ideas you might want me to go over about email or SMS marketing, and subscribe if you want more videos like this. Have an amazing day, and thank you so much for watching all the way through. I'll see you in the next one.